Oh, we made it, y'all. It's the last day of November 2022.
Let's do what?
It's last day in November 2022, my friend.
Is it really?
The 30th.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know.
I think that I'm going to call that the quintessentially best pod opener I think we've ever had. I'm pretty positive.
The crazy part is, I don't know how, but I typed that date into the show notes.
You did.
I just changed it. Well, hey, I'm like Anchorman on a teleprompter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to report whatever's on that thing. Put a question mark at the end of the sentence. I'm going to be like, question mark.
Oh, that's the best.
Either way, we got some
Tell
real
them what
news
we're
to
actually
talk
talking about, Paul.
The good news is I just got a whole day of my life back. What am I going to do with that extra day?
24 hours. I never knew.
Still a whole day of productivity ahead. Today we're going to talk about Tesla's revamped model, a bricked Lightning. We'll talk about what that is. And is it social media or is it entertainment? It's like the age-old quintessential problem that is only age-old since we asked it 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, we got a couple things coming up. Year-end extravaganza coming in hot. It is like 3 weeks away. I don't know.
Yeah.
3 weeks
Website,
away.
event, all the things dropping today. It's happening today. So keep your eye out on the socials, on the website. We'll probably post it personally. So watch out for it. There'll be opportunities to come in person, watch online, all the different things.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. End of year event. Everybody's like, what are you doing end of year event? No one wants to do anything end of year. Actually, no one wants to really learn at we don't want to lean in and get into the details, but we definitely want to have a little fun, want to reminisce a little bit, want to look ahead and get people's perspective on what's coming. And look, NADA is in January, bro. It's like, January,
in
like
hot.
Gotta warm up.
I got like 8 calls yesterday. Like, what are you doing for NADA? What's happening in NADA? What are you doing for NADA? Can you come to this at NADA?
We had a moment yesterday.
It's just Thanksgiving. What happened?
Kyle and I are like yesterday. It's like, what are you doing that day? Okay, when are we getting in? Okay, you're gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing that. We can split up here, get back together here. If I can hop in an Uber, I'll get on this shuttle. I'll be at the Dallas Cowboys. Like, NADA is already over in my mind.
It's basically done and dusted. Ship the content. Go.
Ship the content. Hey, if you're an industry partner and you want to do some collabs or partnerships for NADA, just shoot us an email because we're putting together stuff right now. And last year was insane. This year we're rolling twice as heavy. And so we want to highlight and feature all the great stuff going on in the industry. Can't see it all, but if you highlight something for us, want to do a little collab, NADA is the time to do it. All right, let's talk about some news because that's really why we're here. Get you started in this wonderful world we call retail automotive. So according to a Reuters exclusive, it's very serious. Tesla is working on the first revamp of their Model 3 sedan that includes an exterior update. So they've done some changes under the hood, under the trunk. I don't know. Do they say under the hood anymore? I mean, I guess they say under the hood even when you're talking about like phones and stuff. It's not under the hood. But this one is going to actually make the vehicle look differently. Codename Project Highland, one of the primary objectives is to remove unnecessary parts from the interior in order to focus on high-value areas like that big, gigantic display that's in the center console.
This armrest is useless.
You don't. They're going to pull like a Steve Jobs, like you don't need those extra buttons on the keyboard because I said you don't. You don't need those extra ports, and the man had to pass away in order for him to put the ports back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Here's a quote from Elon Musk from an interview at Barron Funds conference earlier this month. He said, over and over, we found parts that are not needed. They were put in there just in case or by mistake. That's a good, interesting way to put it. We eliminated so many parts from the car that did nothing. So, I mean, you think of the interior.
Elon's out here like, I'm eliminating Twitter employees. I'm eliminating parts. I'm eliminating the need to live on the planet. Like, he's just out here eliminating stuff.
Eliminating the need for planet Earth. He picked a fight with Apple, by the way. Those things are coming together. Well, because I ain't picking a fight with Apple. I don't care how I don't know. Who knows? Who knows how you're thinking when you have that much going on?
Okay, real quick side note. The fact that Apple, the literal number one Q1 advertiser on Twitter, has now pulled all advertising from Twitter and may remove the App Store. He's like, elimination. That's his word of 2023. But back to vehicles.
Yeah, the Trump card's when he's going to be like, no pun intended. I'm not talking about the former President Trump. I'm talking about like just the metaphor. No. The metaphor trump card. Like, here's the.
Yes.
He's gonna be like, oh, by the way, I've been working on this phone. Right. Like,
that'll be the one where everybody comes unglued.
We'll see what happens. But either way, if you've ever been in the interior of a Tesla, you know it's already pretty simple. So I don't know what they're going to take out of there, but they're planning on it. Visible changes are also a part of to bring the effort to bring some more quote newness to the vehicle. As the market's flooded with, a lot of competing EVs now, right? A lot of things that look kind of similar, feel kind of similar.
Well,
Tesla.
I mean, it honestly, since it's come out, it's looked exactly like a Mazda 3 because the designer went from one to the other. So
I didn't know that. That makes so much sense.
So you notice that and you're like, okay, you probably need a brand refresh, especially because a lot of the other EVs are now taking that kind of front
design cue
without the grill. They're taking that design cue. So time to kind of freshen it up and here we go. And it's interesting because when you look at the competitors, they're coming into the market, they're trying to come in strong, but they still haven't figured everything out. And now Tesla's even reducing their costs probably even more because of less production materials. The article also noted that Tesla is still the most profitable EV on the market by far at about $9,500 per vehicle.
Yeah, country mile
to the average of $1,300 by Toyota. So
7x, 8x. So they're like, to catch up to that number. Hey, Charles Higgins, good morning.
Good morning.
People say good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Thanks for reminding both of us that the 30th is tomorrow.
No, I don't think he reminded you. I think he only reminded
He got
me.
you.
I
was trying to welcome myself into the.
I appreciate that.
That's our podcast.
I appreciate that. It's like good, like the corporate, like we'll take the hit. That's how you know your boys got your back. That's how you know. It's how you know. So we'll see. I wonder if this is like my first thought was, it's talking about Tesla and Apple. Apple like leaks stuff that's like intentional to get people talking about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is just a little play out of that playbook because this is a leaked story. They haven't officially announced it yet, but everybody's talking about it. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Tim Cook and Elon Musk are actually behind the scenes besties, and they're just like playing a little game out front for some PR. I really don't think so. I can't think of two more different people.
I'm sure they'd be okay at a dinner party, but I'm not calling them besties anytime soon.
Barbecue buddies. Yeah. Speaking of getting fried.
Segue.
All right. This is a new one. EV enthusiast and Ford F-150 Lightning owner Eric Rowe, who also owns a Kia Niro EV, by the way. He tweeted that he plugged in his truck, his F-150 Lightning, into an Electrify America station, so the largest charging network, and heard a loud pop, which was followed by what he called a bricked truck. And if you're not familiar with that terminology, when something bricks, it's a piece of electronics that's now doesn't do anything. So it's a brick. It just sits there and it's like paperweight. So he says it bricked his truck. He followed up the tweet with details. The fact that he was on a family vacation with his 2 dogs and 1,000 miles from home, posting some pictures of the truck being pulled onto a flatbed trailer, which he added, the car was unable to even be put into neutral. Like it was just totally dead. Pop, man, I've heard that pop in electronics before, like being in sound and
exactly what that is. Yeah.
Pop, you're like, that's it. I mean, fortunately, there's no smoke, but then, they had to literally drag the car onto the flatbed. This is kind of cool. Emma Berg, global director of EVs and Blue Oval City Communications for Ford, right? So pretty high position right there. She actually just reached out right in the Twitter feed. She's like, hey, please DM me, right? So that's kind of cool. Like we're talking. And so
that's really what it's for.
I like how we're talking of this on Twitter too, right? It's all connected now. Tesla's, Twitter, Ford Lightnings. John Roper weighs in on the live stream. Dude, my car did that once when I ran out of gas. I hope it didn't pop.
I hope it didn't pop. It probably did stop running and not go to neutral. Maybe the alternator and the battery died, but like, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I know it's a one-off story. It's something that we're going to have to deal with, that you're dealing with electronics sitting plugged in. I mean, think about this. Like it's the same thing as if Shell let some water get in their gas at a gas station, right? Truck's going to seize up. So like that's happened before. It's just a new thing that we have to deal with. And like the manufacturer has to figure out, like, how do they recover that truck? Is it a manufacturer thing? Are they taking care of the battery? Like, what,
that's the question right now.
Or is it Electrify America? Was it
Right,
their fault? And so who
engineers
who
are
takes
talking,
ownership
they
of the
said.
issue? Yep.
Engineers are talking like, was it the plug-in? Was it the vehicle? Was it the charger? And if you read through the Twitter feed, it's kind of fun because like you see like people willing to like die on the sword of either side of that argument. It's definitely the charger. It's definitely the truck. See, I knew it. So just part of like, hey, whenever you innovate, right, you're gonna have new problems. And so this is just one of those new problems, and we're talking about it. And we're talking about, I think the big opportunity really is always how a company deals with the problem. Right.
Yep.
That's the real opportunity because
That's exactly it.
Things are going to happen.
Exactly it.
What are they going to do with it? They're going to make it a chance for a deeper customer connection, giving people comfort, or are they going to just play the like deflective PR game? Which I hope not, because social media is where life is played out these days. Speaking of social media,
Stop.
Boom.
Segue time.
It's kind of
fascinating
sad that you just had to
article.
say that last sentence, by the way.
Speaking of social media,
life is played out.
Yeah,
social media is where life is played out. I just got a little bit depressed. It's okay.
Yeah,
Keep moving.
well,
keep moving.
Well, after I saw the stat yesterday, we'll talk about this stat at the end. Actually, we'll start at our end stat right now. Report Wall Street Journal, TikTok users spend an average of 96 minutes per day on the app.
Can you imagine?
96 minutes. It's a lot of time. That's a lot of time just dedicated to the screens. 5 times what they spend on Snapchat, triple their time on Twitter, and almost twice as much as Facebook and Instagram. So, this is according to the data analytics company Sensor Tower. But the real story here is the question, is social media becoming less social and more media? So platforms like TikTok are actually weighing in on that. Leroyson Figueira, senior creative director at London-based marketing agency 160over90, explains, it seems that every new digital platform that is not a website or a utility app is immediately branded a social platform without pausing to think. TikTok has also been branded social by our industry when it is anything but.
Yeah.
And what the argument is that social media is actually an entertainment platform where you are content is curated that you go to for entertainment, not for social interaction.
Well, I think depending on the platform and the part of the platform that you're looking at is definitely, could change, like whether or not I'm going here for entertainment or I'm going here for social. Facebook groups, social, right? When you're looking at, TikTok, probably majority entertainment or even research. Like there's a lot of research happening there. So I think that like it is kind of getting
a lot of research happening where? TikTok?
On TikTok, yeah, like people are learning things on there, like or learning new recipes or figuring out how to do something different. Like it's very YouTube, it's very like early YouTube-esque in the way that TikTok is happening. So when you look at like the overall branded social media, as Facebook kind of was the creator of that it was intentionally social, it was person to person, that ecosystem is totally different. It's kind of like I've got a cell phone over here that isn't quite a phone, except for like very few times a day. So I think like reframing some of these, especially when and they talk a lot about like how marketers or companies or businesses are approaching these platforms, thinking like, hey, some of these are things that are entertainment focused, and some of these things are social focused, and kind of playing in all of those worlds and understanding that your content has to like join and swim in the river, as we talk about a lot. So
this may be the best audience comment we've ever gotten. That's where Kyle's gets his new dance moves. ... Research. I'd agree with that. So probably does. Probably not. I don't think that's where he gets. It's just natural. It's just natural. Here's a big difference. So you think of the way a TV channel tries to build their audience by having shows and showing you things that you like. So you go to that channel first, and they're saying like TikTok is really built the same way. Blake Chandley, their president of Global Business Solution, clarifies the distinction. He says that most other platforms build their algorithms based on the social graph. That's like, how people interact and engage with one another, and based on the engagements they show. He said, that's those other platforms' core competency. TikTok, however, is an entertainment platform, and the difference is significant. He says, they think about influencers less and more creators, which is the whole creator economy is moving that way. Influencers is like somebody like a celebrity, like, oh, I know them, right? But a creator is more like, I like what they make. I like what they do. There's like a closer tie to the authenticity of the person and not just like famous for famous sake. It's, you know, popular because of something that they contribute and something they make. So I don't know.
You know what's interesting? The guy who created Shield app, which is basically a LinkedIn
analytics tool,
analytics thing, he actually posted the other day. He posted this, and the lead was selfies are for familiarity, content is for following. And like that, so that's kind of like right in line. It's like, oh, people can do selfies. That's a familiarity thing. Like that's social interaction. But content for content's sakes builds a following, builds something that people are leaning into what you're saying or doing or making. And so I love the shift. I think that it's great.
I mean, when you think of that selfies, I mean, that's so we talk about, you and I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, right? As a soda, we spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is obviously a social platform, right? LinkedIn is a place where conversation happens. And even if there's a selfie on LinkedIn, typically speaking, there's content of some level of substance in the copy that actually invokes a thought or a position or a question that allows you to interact. So, you know, LinkedIn, there's some entertainment in there, but primarily social. TikTok, let's just have some fun. If we can learn something on the way, it's a bonus. But honestly, we just want to have a little fun. I don't even know how you would clarify this podcast. It's probably not that much entertainment or information, but you show up here any day regardless, because we'll tell you the wrong date at the beginning. You have a whole extra day of November. Go get some.